Hey guys, good evening and welcome to my exciting channel. We're discussing Mandela effects and the like. Thanks for joining me today as we uncover the mysteries of the Mandela effect itself and find out the true meaning of it all. We must discover what is really happening, what is really going on here, to change these things that we know and hold dear to us. And let us help others discover the meaning of the Mandela effect and how it affects them and the price of milk. Thank you.
No, I don't think I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Hey guys, good evening and welcome to my exciting channel. We're discussing Mandela effects of the like. Thank you for joining in. Welcome all Mandela effectians. So good to see you guys again.
Hello, Brian.
Welcome everyone. Glad you all could join us. Sandy's here with me tonight, and we're going to be talking about how many we got tonight, Sandy. Or we want to surprise them, or we want to go ahead and how many Mandela effects that are new we found?
Well, there's one new one that is it's huge, guys. I'm going to sound like Teresa. It's huge. It really is huge. But there's a great chance a lot of you are not going to be affected by it because you were not interested in Barbies. But I'm telling you, if you watched cartoons and you saw Barbie commercials, you might still be affected. You know,
I've seen the Barbie commercials come on regular TV stations.
Yeah, like what I'm saying is like I can sing in my head the jingles for G.I. Joe, Transformers, you know what I'm saying? If you can sing a Barbie jingle in your head, you may be affected by this. But I got to tell you, there like a lot of the folders have added stuff to it. So that's why there isn't a ton of new stuff tonight, because I had to update a lot of the folders. You know what I'm saying? So there's more stuff, new stuff added to previous presentations. That make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll try to hand it out, and if we have anything left over, we'll just sort of dip back into some of the older effects, which is fine. But I want to do a few shout outs before we begin. Who was first in the chat here? Let's see who was first.
Super Mario was first in both
Super Mario Brothers 3. Oh my goodness. Both chats, yeah. Followed by you, Sandy.
There's a lot of people jumping in, so since you can see both chats, you should definitely do the shout out.
Yep, Noise Guru is here. Pushing Buttons is here. Go Kart Bob. Let's see, we got Ed's here. Ed Hen. Yep, that's good. Okay, it looks like a lot of you guys are here. All right, so we'll go ahead and begin.
Sounds good. Hey guys, good to see you. Hey Moon Freedom, who just jumped in the chat.
We had a lot going on this past week. You know, with the eclipse going on, the great, what do they call it, the Great American Solar Eclipse.
Mm-hmm. Hey, wait, hold on.
It was interesting. Huh?
I was saying hi to DD74. That's who Ken Raz is.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Sandy, did you experience any of the eclipse where you were?
I mean, I took a video. I'm probably going to put it up as a short. Not of the eclipse. I wanted people to see what it looked like outside in the 90% zones. Apparently, I was in the 90% zone because it was curving around us. And the 90% zone you would think would be much darker than it is, and it's not. Like the difference between 100% and 90%.
It's pretty much like night and day. It's like night and day.
Literally, the 90% zone is like the 50% zone. If you're in a 40-50% zone, it looks pretty much the same as the 90%. So I'm probably going to put up a short showing people what 90% looks like, because it's not as impressive as you'd think it is, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just the sky, not the actual. I didn't have those glasses, so I can't, you know what I'm saying? So I just pointed my phone out the window and showed you how dark it was. That's all.
Okay. I mean, it looks like we've got a lot to cover with the eclipse and the earthquake stuff. So,
like I said, there's updates to like the the New York thing and the eclipse, and there's updates to like all of those folders, almost all of them. That's what I was trying to say. Like there's
So you're saying,
added. Huh?
okay. Has anyone seen these before? Have you had these on your show before?
Yeah, but not like Moon. I don't know if Moon Freedom saw them all. I don't even know if Push and Buttons saw them all. I don't think Push and
Mm-hmm.
Buttons was at Push In. Were you at the last show? I don't think Push and Buttons was, or maybe it was the show beforehand, the Easter show. One of the shows. Ed wasn't at the other show, so Ed did not see these. I don't think. I don't remember, to be honest with you, Brian. I'm doing a lot of shows, so it's hard to. I'm getting the chat confused in my head.
It's okay. So on April 5th, 2024, at 10:21 a.m. Eastern, Sandy says she was working with her iPad when her table and arm started to shake. A half second later, her body and bed were shaking pretty violently, and then it stopped.
And there's
And
a
it looks like where
motorcycle
the
outside.
epicenter, where did they say the epicenter was? Lebanon? Is that where it was? Close to there?
I've seen many different epicenters: Lebanon, White House Station, or there's a lot. That's basically the area of it. That's all that really matters.
And 4.8, is that pretty big on, I mean, from what I heard, it was pretty big considering
It
it was
is
on the
like
East Coast.
the average in my area when we get them, which is very rare. I literally 3 my whole life. They say the average in my area is a 1.7 to a 2.2. The 2.2 is the
Mm-hmm.
strongest. So a 4.8, yeah, it was pretty strong. Like, here's the thing: the other earthquake that I experienced
Mm-hmm.
locally just felt like a truck hitting a pothole hard outside. Like it was just like a bang feeling. Um, the last two, um, the previous one in 2011 was the one that happened in Virginia. That was violent shaking as well. But this one was weird because I knew it happened in New Jersey. I knew it came from the east because my table faces northeast. Okay, so I literally felt it roll under me. It was just an odd sensation. But yeah, they were much stronger than the ones that we get. The ones that we get here, we don't even feel apparently because they're
Was
so
there any,
weak.
like, did you lose power or anything like that? Was there anything
No,
significant damage anywhere?
no, not that
Well,
I
thank
saw.
goodness for that. And that was just before the eclipse.
Yes.
But then what was really interesting was there was a newscaster, not sure what his name is, but he came on the news talking about solar earthquakes or something like that, earthquakes during the eclipse, which
Well,
I
the
think it was just
reason
I think it was just a I think it was just maybe a maybe he misread the script or something,
I don't know.
or it could have been intentional. I don't know, but it
I
was weird.
heard I heard something like, the pull of the moon can trigger them. I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
we
the
know it
moon's
has
not
control
anywhere
over the
different than
Earth's.
it normally is, so I don't see why that would be affecting it.
Yeah, we know the moon has control over the Earth's waters and things like that. Um, so anyway, so let me get back to the point here. What we're looking at here is a picture of Lake Erie, of course, grouping of faults deep below Lake Erie, adding to Ohio's earthquake activity. So Sandy went to the website usgs.gov and confirmed that a 4.8 earthquake had hit northwestern New Jersey, which seemed really odd to Sandy because she'd only heard of one fault line in the area, the Erie fault line.
That is the only one I've ever heard of.
So, question one, yes or no? Have you ever heard of the Erie fault line?
And I'm not talking about the ones that they're saying are underneath Lake Erie.
I mean, everybody knows the San Andreas. I mean,
We're going to be
even if
talking
you were
about that
born
too.
nearly yesterday,
We're
even
going
if
to
you were
be
born nearly yesterday, huh?
right, but we're going to be talking about that. So just hold up a second.
I've never heard of the Erie fault line. Not saying it doesn't exist, but I have never heard of it.
Okay, so
Anyone else out there?
Oh, that's right. I can't. I'm like going to click it like I'm putting it on the screen. Yeah, Brian, you have to put them on the screen. The answers. I can't do it.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, guys, remember to hit that like and subscribe for more content. We keep it going. We keep it rolling. Okay, so pushing button says nope, not personally. Moonframe says my geography is whack, so I've never heard. Okay, so let's see. Next, is there another question here? Okay. Anyway, for those. Okay, so which one am I reading the bubble at the top first?
Yep.
Okay, so Sandy remembers the Erie fault line. It was overdue for an earthquake. Can't find it. It's like it no longer exists.
It does
For
not
those
exist
of you
in this
who,
reality. It does not. Go on.
right. For those of you who had never paid attention to the topic or are not from reality on this one, Sandy learned the Erie fault line at least a decade ago. It was a dormant fault line said to be overdue for an earthquake. However, Sandy can't find this fault line anywhere. It appears to have vanished from this version of Earth.
Yes. It's gone.
So question 2. Do you recall any major fault lines on the eastern half of the United States of America? Either 1, no fault lines. 2, yes, the Erie fault line. 3, yes, the New Madrid fault line. 4, yes, the East Coast fault line. 5, yes, the Ramapo fault line system. Or 6, yes, all the above.
Can you hide Moon Freedom's comments so they can see the options, Brian?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. And welcome, Sophia. Sophia Green's in the chat.
Hey, Sophia.
In
Good
my
to see
chat,
you.
I have to check yours. Your
I
chat.
I see all of it.
Okay. So, guys.
Okay. Pushing button
Coast
says
fault
never heard of
lines,
it.
1 through 6. 1 is no fault lines. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are.
Well, the thing is with the number 6, you're saying no fault lines and fault lines if you agree to all of them.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what I mean. 2 through 2.
Yeah, you mean all the yeses.
Yeah, all the S's.
Okay. So what do you guys remember?
Ed never bothered to learn them. Pushin said that never heard of it.
It's not my fault I can't remember them all, Sandy. It's not my fault.
Ken Raz is a 1, no fault lines. Pushin is 2, 3, and 5. Wait, now you remember the Erie fault line?
Sophia Green says 1. We're talking about fault lines on the eastern half of the United States.
No 2, says Pushin. Just 3 and 5.
I don't remember any fault lines on the eastern side of the U.S. I hate to say that, Sandy, but I don't remember any of them.
Noise Guru says there are no faults in the east.
But isn't there one in South Carolina now?
Well, that's what we're going to get to, Brian.
Yeah, so in my past, there was just the Erie fault line that I can find no record of. Now there is the Madrid. You mean the New Madrid?
Yeah, no.
The East Coast and the Ramapo fault lines. The East Madrid is said to be as big as the San Andreas. What?
Yeah, but I meant to say New Madrid's. Just ignore that.
Okay. So, but today's earthquake came from Ramapo.
Is it Ramapo or Ramapo?
It might be Ramapo.
I'm not sure which it is. So if we're pronouncing it wrong, we're sorry. One of us is.
Sorry about that.
One of us is pronouncing it wrong, so we're sorry.
So you're telling me all 3 of these fault lines are connected right there?
Yes, and I don't remember any of them, so there's an issue with that. I don't remember these.
So anyway, the New Madrid is fascinating because it literally lines up with the path of the April 8th eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
And Sajar Mandela Effect just did a video showing that Alabama had massive 7 to 8 magnitude earthquakes from this fault line back in 1811.
Yes, so be careful, Brian.
Yeah, I know. I'm right there.
7 to 8. That's like the big one in San Francisco.
I mean, I'm in Huntsville. I'm in Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah, North Alabama, and you can see that we're about 150 miles from there, I think, or might be closer to. I guess about 200 miles from that fault.
Yes,
You
there
got
are
to think
fault
of
lines all over the earth. Go Kart Bob says there are
you
fault lines
got
all over the earth, but the thing is,
yeah
the fault lines usually follow the Ring of Fire. Like
yeah.
usually follow volcanic lines as well. And I
hmm
do not recall any fault lines on the East Coast. I don't.
Well, I can tell you by driving distance it seems like it's about 200 miles.
Ed Hedden says, I remember 1811 like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah. So the East Coast fault line and Ramapo were never there either. We never have earthquakes this strong. This is definitely a new Earth shift for me, but that's not all. So there are now little fault lines all over the U.S. that I have no memory of. Do you remember the Manhattan or Manhattan having several small fault lines? Because it does now. That is so weird, Sandy.
I know, isn't it? It's very
Yes, it
weird.
is.
I mean, they literally built a bridge right over a fault line.
That's
Like,
so
what's the
weird.
bridge connecting Jersey City to Manhattan? Because there's two fault lines on either side. Oh my God. It's
And I
just
don't know
crazy.
which is my mind more, which is messing with your mind, I guess.
Look at all
The
the
new
fault
fault
lines,
lines,
Brian. Look at all the fault lines. Look at that.
it kind of looks like bacteria, to be honest with you. Like,
You,
you know how
look at
bacteria looks under a
Alabama.
microscope?
Look where they are in Alabama, Brian. Oh my gosh. Like Philadelphia is just
So
one big
many.
fault line. What is this? Never. This is new to me. Never, never, ever, ever.
If you
Nevada
look at, okay,
is all
I'm just
fault. You
looking
can't
at
even see the
this.
state.
I know I'm looking at this objectively. Okay,
Hmm.
from what it looks like where all the buildup of the lines is pretty much where the mountainous areas are. If you look at it, the Appalachian Mountains
Yes.
kind of follow that all
And
the way on
explain
up.
Texas and Oklahoma. Minnesota. Explain them. Hey,
I can't
Mandela
really explain
affected.
those. so the new fault lines to my reality, or the missing Erie fault line that I learned about all those years ago. If anyone finds it, please let me know so I can update the presentation. One other thing, in 2011, a huge event hit Virginia. I felt it while napping in my bed in New Jersey. If you recall this event, what caused the shaking felt several states away? Was it an earthquake, an explosion from an underground mine, or was it number three, an earthquake triggered by the collapse of an underground mine?
So here's the thing. I know what they're saying it is, but I have a
Well, you,
memory of something that it is no longer.
okay. Yeah, while you wait and gather some answers from the chat, Sandy, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Or I'll be back. Just give me a few moments here, okay?
Okay. So guys, I'm gonna go check Brian's chat because I can't see it. See if anybody remembers this. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So no one in Brian's chat. So Sophia is a 1. Thank you for answering, Sophia. They're still stuck on the bacteria photo of the United States. The image is actually related, but it was too hard to read, so I just used, hey, Artsy, good to see you. Ed Hen is not sure, and that is okay. I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer. Hey guys, if you get a chance, can you go over to Brian's channel and give it a like? He's missing some, that's all. Mandela Effect says, I don't know nothing about shaking. Pushing Button says maybe 3. Ed Hen, not sure. I already read that. Hey, General Sarah, thank you. Let's see. General Sorrow has a new picture. Is that an alien? It's so hard to see because it's so small. Let's see. Which movie, Ed Hen? I'm trying to read the chat, but while also not trying to leave a long silence. It's hard to read and talk at the same time. Thank you, Mandela Affected. Oh, I saw Idiocracy. Oh, I saw that movie. I loved it. Oh, I definitely saw that movie. But I was just, who was I talking to? Was it Christopher that I was talking to, or Jeff? I'm not, like, there are some quotes that I know. And I was talking about a Mandela Effect I covered. Like, one of the
Okay,
quotes that I
Sandy,
covered.
I'm back. Thank you.
No problem. One of the quotes I covered was, which I think I'm going to have to update again, because I do remember it differently from when I even covered it last time, was fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Bumpy
and now
night. It's
it's a
bumpy night.
Yes. Except I remember it as fasten your seatbelts, boys. The boys is missing. Fasten your seatbelts, boys. It's going to be a bumpy ride, is what I remember. And now it's fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Yeah.
I remember boys in there. But I don't remember tons of quotes. I remember specific ones. So if you're going to say a quote in Idiocracy, I probably won't remember it. That's all.
Here's a question. How many of you guys know that we purchased Alaska from the Russians?
That makes sense now in this reality because it's so close.
Yeah. So yeah, you can, as you can see, it looks like the fault lines there. The major faults, right? Major earthquake zones.
Mm-hmm. That's population right there.
Yeah. And see, for me too, I didn't know radon was actually a thing. Radon can kill you.
Oh yeah, there was a big thing for in my area. There's a big thing about it in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, like it's worse than cigarette smoking. It can.
Brian,
It's
there's a lot of
silent
things
killer.
worse than cigarette smoking.
Well,
Believe
you
it or
know,
not. There's
I'm
a
just
lot
saying
of
it's
things
worse
worse.
than that.
But what I'm trying to say is I have a vague memory of it being a mine, whether it be an explosion or a collapse. I have a vague memory of a mine causing the shaking, which is now just a straight up earthquake. It was just an earthquake. There was no mine, nothing with a mine related to it. And I don't know why I have that memory. I could be confusing it with another event. So I'm not saying that's a Mandela. I'm just saying I have a vague memory of this. That's all. Hey, preliminal.
Oh.
Go ahead, Brian. We have a
Yep.
lot to get
Anyways,
through.
I know maybe it was an earthquake, but for some reason, I have a memory of it being caused by a mine, either an explosion or collapse. Maybe I'm mixing it up with another event. Does anyone else share the memory? Question 3. California is known to have the deadliest fault line in the U.S. What is the name of that fault line? Isn't that the San Andreas?
So that's what we're asking in the chat. Chat, what is the deadliest fault line in California? If you already saw this, just answer what you originally answered, please. Pushin says, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, Sandy, with the vague memory of a mine. Vague. So Mandela affected says San Andreas. Pushing buttons to San Andreas.
Yeah, there was even a movie about it.
Sophia says San Andreas. It's not San Andreas.
Oh, she's no way. It was always the San Andreas for me, but not on this earth. In this reality.
Brian? Brian, you there?
Hello?
There you go. You just, in this reality, and you blanked out.
Okay, I said in this reality, it's the Hayward fault line, which I've never heard of. Have you? Anyone from California, have you heard of this?
Anyone in the chat? Have you heard of the Hayward fault line, and did you realize that it was 10% more deadly than the San Andreas?
Yeah, I want to know people that live in California.
Pushing buttons says
Who's that?
nope.
Where's that West Coast? Where's that West Coast lady that said she was from the West Coast? Yeah, Mandela affected.
And John Nada is from.
Oh man, look at that.
California.
Mandela affected even said San Andreas, and they're born and raised in California.
Yep, not once.
That's
Sophia's never. Noise Guru says yes.
Man, is this the major one that you were talking about?
There's a lot of major ones, Brian.
Okay.
No, it gets worse. Yeah.
Okay. The Hayward is probably the most dangerous, it says.
Mm-hmm.
So how many earthquakes do they get on a daily basis? What is it like? Isn't there like 500,000 earthquakes every day or something like that?
I don't know the number, but
I forget.
Most earthquakes we don't feel.
But there's also a new contender that may be worse than both the San Andreas and the Hayward fault lines. Have you ever heard of the Walker Lane fault line?
So yes or no in the chat. Have you ever heard of Walker Lane fault line?
Yeah, there was always that running joke about California falling into the ocean. I remember that.
Except California. It says California won't fall into the ocean.
Right, it was a joke. We were joking.
But it goes on to say, but it could get nudged hundreds of miles offshore, making Nevada the new coastline.
Man. But don't we also have to worry about Yosemite or whatever? Yosemite.
We can't worry about any of this stuff. But it's pretty much saying California's going to be Hawaii.
Yeah. Moreover, San Andreas is an ominous new fault in town, the Nevada desert near Reno. This fault line was discovered in 1988 and is responsible for Las Vegas earthquakes. Have you ever heard of this? See, Teresa she's not able to be here tonight, Sandy. I meant to tell you that because she has a DR appointment in the morning.
Gotcha. But yeah, so this is not a California fault line, guys. This is a Nevada fault line.
Okay.
And this one is the one that would separate California from the United States.
Yeah, there's also a suspected new tectonic plate spanning from Texas to Alabama. and encompassing all of Louisiana.
A new
Excuse me,
tectonic plate,
the
Brian.
plates, yeah, wow, the plate's trajectory is southeast away from the continent of the Gulf. I don't know,
Into the
man.
Gulf.
Into the Gulf, yeah. So, newly identified fault line could unleash a monster earthquake. Of course, yes, and I think that might be clickbait. Actually, I don't know if is it true. Yeah, I don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, Mandela Effect says, I am in Las Vegas. I have never felt an earthquake. And if you look here on the bottom left, Mandela Affected, the entire, go back for 1 second, Brian. Can you zoom in on the bottom left corner? The entire state of Nevada is fault lines. Those are all fault lines. It's insane. It's the entire state.
That's insane.
It's the entire state. I can't.
U.S.
This is,
officials warn
I'm sorry.
75% of America is at risk for earthquakes after uncovering hundreds more fault lines. Is your area in a danger zone?
So
Now,
you're
I
gonna
read.
tell me that you're gonna tell me that they just missed 350 fault lines all this time.
I don't know. I mean, scientists study this stuff all the time. We've got newer pieces of equipment. We should be able to pick it up, right? Anyways, over 1 million Americans in the northeastern U.S. could be at risk of a tsunami due to a newly discovered fault line, it says here in Daily Mail. Scientists have found an approximately 45-mile-long fracture that runs through British Columbia and Canada and escaped detection for thousands of years.
How do you miss a 45-mile long fault line for thousands of years?
I'm not sure. But earthquakes in Las Vegas, the answer lies in Walker Lane. So this new fault line is parallel to San Andreas.
Oh, the new fault line parallel to San Andreas is the Hayward. The
Oh,
Hayward
okay.
one.
Okay, but this the Ramapo fault.
Yes, that's what they
So
call
where
the
did
earthquake.
people this affected you guys? And I'm sure people on Long Island probably felt it too.
It was felt. I know Esther felt it in New Hampshire.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, and it was felt. I know it was felt
But
in Connecticut as well.
right, but whenever you have an earthquake, you don't just have the earthquake. There's usually aftershocks.
We did not have an aftershock, but I don't know about Ramapo. I don't know about that
Okay.
area, like Lebanon and stuff. They may have had aftershocks, but we did not.
So yeah, the is any of this a Mandela effect for you? New fault lines and East Coast San Andreas fault, many fault lines all over the U.S., including Manhattan. And what do you think about the New Madrid fault line following a near exact path of the eclipse? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Yeah.
That is weird, and there was a lot of people that were you know not so much doomsayers, but like right leading right up to the eclipse.
Yep.
No, man, I don't think we know the day or the hour. Guys, that's what I believe.
I don't think we can know the day or the hour. So I did do a community poll, even though none of you remember the Erie fault line. A few did. So 9%
Yeah, there was
remembered the Erie
9%.
fault line like I do.
Nobody seemed to remember the Ramapo or the East Coast fault line. Yeah, I don't recall any fault lines. The only thing that I learned was the Mariana Trench could be a fault line in the middle of the ocean in the Atlantic. That's the only thing I remember us learning about in school was that Mariana Trench. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yes. Mandela Affected says it's all a Mandela because I've never actually experienced these things.
All right,
Right.
we're on to the next one.
You can skip this one. It's just pictures.
Oh, skip this Mandela?
Yeah, this is just pictures. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yes or no? Is the World Trade Center, the World Trade Center is on the water?
Yes or no? Is it on the water? Do you guys remember the buildings? And again, if you saw this, just answer what you originally answered. Are the World Trade Center buildings right on the water?
You mean previously, right?
Yes.
Obviously, yeah. Since the 911.
Yes.
Gotta be careful what I say on the YouTube.
Can you look at the answers because you can see both chats, please?
Sure. So Sophia Green says no. Mandela Affected says nope. Adam for Christ says no.
I am for Christ.
Mandela Affected not on the water. Noise Guru 3 blocks away. Ed Hen says, what's the question?
Do you remember the World Trade Center, the old World Trade Center, being on the water, or like Noise Guru remembers a few blocks in?
I mean, I remember it being at least a few blocks from the water. Yeah, it wasn't directly on the water.
Hey, Cuberts. Hi, Michael Russell. Hi, Shelby
Why would you
Norwood.
build? It doesn't make sense to build something right on the water.
Ed Hen says water. Ed remembers it on the water. Shelby and Michael say no. Cubert says no. Okay, question 2.
Which is your World Trade Center? Since it last was Mandela, is it the one on the left or the one on the right? And let me zoom in on that so you guys can see which one is correct. Did you Photoshop one of these, Sandy?
Yes, I did.
Oh man, you make it so tricky.
I'm not making it tricky. You're supposed to go by your memory.
I know.
Are you having a deal memory?
I seem no. I seem to remember the one on the right.
Okay. Well, Michael remembers the one on the left. Pushin is saying left question mark. And I'm going to say I probably could have photoshopped it better because it's not exact, but Ed Hen is right.
Yeah. Have you? I'm curious, Sandy. Have you played around with the new AI where you circle it and then Adobe will fill it in for you?
No. Mandela Affected says I be studied the left, but my memory is right. Sophia is right. Sorry. No,
Okay.
no. I'd rather not.
Okay.
No.
Well, where's the answer? I want to know the answer.
We're gonna get to it. DD7E04 is right. Ken Raz. Hi, Helen
Yes or no?
Skygazer the Frosty. Good to see you.
Do you recall? Yes or no? Do you recall a wheat or tall grass field near the WTC?
So, guys, again, if you already saw this presentation, just answer what you originally answered. Do you recall a wheat or tall grass field near the World Trade Center buildings? Moon Freedom is the left. Mandela Affected typo, but I did study the left, but the right feels normal.
Sophia Green says no.
Nope, still don't, says Ken Raz. Mandela Affected the wheat field is crazy. Hubert's no. There are no plants in Manhattan, says Noskuru.
None of this matches my reality. I do not remember the buildings right on the water. There were a few blocks in, and I definitely do not remember wheat or grass this close to the buildings. Maybe across the river, but not next to it.
So you're going to see that next.
I don't see the wheat field. Yeah.
You will next. Well, you will in a couple slides.
Okay. I don't remember the beams on the bottom making the base of the building look like a massive vent. Yeah, I don't remember that either, Sandy. It was for me. It was the one on the right.
And I do
Well,
have
here.
residue of what I remember on the bottom. Now I added it because the top looks more like how I remember the bottom. They look different. I'm going to show you guys. So here's the,
Yeah,
the
what is
grass
up?
and wheat. This is it, Brian, right here.
Yeah, no, what is up with that wheat field?
And I also added the picture of where that field is. So you're going to see it coming up soon. But look at this.
Okay.
You guys, it looks like the buildings are sitting on top of two vents, and I don't remember that. What I think it is, if you cut that vent in half, the bottom of it, maybe that was there, just an opening at the bottom, very small. But that double size, that's wrong. It was not like that, for me at least. Okay, so I previously talked about, stay on this picture a minute. So Moneybags talked about white lines appearing on the building, and then I discovered it's because on one building it sticks out, and on the other building it's flat. So there's actually a physical reason why it looks like there's a white line on the World Trade Center now. It's because of those two things on the right. Anyway, go on, Brian. All right, so this is how it is now at the bottom. It looks like a Gothic church. I don't remember the beams going across and the windows being that high. And that's why it looks wrong to me. It's too tall, and the beams going across give it that vent look. Keep going. All right, so here you can see those white lines Moneybags was talking about. And those white lines are because of that thing that sticks out on one building and is flat on the other.
You mean on the corners
Yeah,
or the edge?
yeah. And I'm sorry, it still looks wrong to me. I don't remember the windows being that high that it looked like vents. Oh, I included the picture on the, okay. The picture on the right, because where's the water? Where's the water? I don't know. That's just weird to me. Maybe it's a little bit off to the side, to like below. Just more pictures showing you the beams going across.
Pretty tall, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they're taller than I
at
remember.
least it looks at least maybe 25, 30 feet high.
Yeah, it's taller than I remember. And the top left corner is that beam that's making the white line. This ad even has the vent looking things at the bottom. And it also has the lines in the middle that we found a while ago. So there's another close up. It just reminds me of like a Gothic church. Oh, stop, go back a second. So I want to point something out to you guys. I want you to look at the picture on the left bottom and the other two images. Notice one has one beam going across and the other has two beams going across horizontally. One building had taller windows than the other. Just want to
Oh wow!
put that out there. They
What?
were not the same. Now they're different.
But they always call them the Twin Towers. You can't say they're Twin Towers now.
They are totally different. So here you can even see at the bottom sticks out a little bit, which is so strange. That is so strange. These are the models for the building. All right, so there's the field. The field that the pictures were taken from with the wheat and the grass. It's right there.
Where? Oh, right there.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't remember that there.
It's hard to believe it happened. 23 years ago?
I know.
It's hard to believe.
So that's the single beam building. And there's a single beam again, the single beam building. And the windows are much shorter, they're not as tall. I'm just showing you that you could see it from far away. Like, I was not there in my past. All right, so now, Brian, the top windows at the top do not have any beams going across. They're double stacked, of course, but the top window does not have a beam going straight across. And that's how I remember the bottom. I remember the window shorter and no horizontal beam in the middle. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So the top is more like I remember on the bottom.
I forget, what was that movie with wasn't Michael J. Fox. It was a movie they filmed. It was a Robert Zemeckis film. It had something to do with the towers. You remember?
Yeah, where the person who walked across the tightrope.
Yes. What was that? What was that movie called?
I don't know. I have a picture of it coming up. I don't know. All I know is that I don't know how they did that and didn't get blown away by the wind.
Save here.
All right, so these are models that were made, and notice that there's no vents on it at all. So I don't know if they just used plain silver. I just threw it in there. Like if they didn't put any details, but I threw it in there anyway because it looks more like what I remember.
Yeah, it looks like
Minus,
a 3D printed.
Yeah, minus the huge antenna on top. Man on a wire. Thank you, Cuberts.
Thank you, man on a wire.
All right, Brian. We can move on. Brian, if we're running out of time, skip this one.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because I have. Oh wait, is that the last one before the new one?
I think this is the new one here, isn't it? The Barbie.
It is the new one. That's what I'm asking. I'm saying, was that the last one for the new one? I thought you had more to cover than this.
You told me to skip the Jupiter one.
All right, actually do the Jupiter one really quick because I did add to it.
Okay.
Because it's mainly just pictures, but there is something I wanted to show people that was important. Then we'll get to this. All right, so really quickly, you see the X and the check mark. The check mark is not exactly what I remember. It's too big. But I remember
You talking about
storm.
You talking about the storm?
Yeah. I remember the spot on Jupiter being bigger than what it is now. Not that big, but bigger. It's much smaller than I remember. The great red spot is just like a little red spot. All right, so what I'm about to talk about is not the storm at the pole that's octagon shaped. I'm not talking about this. Just wanted to point that out.
You're talking about Saturn, right? We're moving to a different
Saturn,
planet?
Yes. Now we're on Saturn. I do not remember this storm.
What?
This giant storm on Saturn. And when I showed this the other night, I covered it as it being new. But it's not new. That's why I'm showing this again. Go ahead, Brian.
Is this an ongoing storm?
It's a 100-year storm.
No, that was never there. Jupiter was the only one that had the storm.
Yeah, well, it's gonna.
And see, Jupiter never had rings, and now it does.
I know they all have rings now. I know it's crazy, but keep going, because there's headlines coming up. So century-long storms, Saturn's enduring tempests, and they're talking about the storm being megastorms occur approximately every 20 to 30 years on Saturn. So go on, Brian. 100-year megastorms on Saturn shower the ring planet in ammonia rain. So this storm is one of the 100-year megastorms. This is what I added. And hey, Red Storm, welcome. And I can't even talk. Hi, Parody Bear. If you go to the next slide, Brian, the picture in the bottom right, these photos were taken 13 years ago.
There's no way, because we've seen pictures of Saturn, and there was nothing like that.
13 years ago, they took pictures of this storm, supposedly. And it's the first I'm hearing of it and seeing pictures of it.
Wow.
So I wanted to include that these pictures were taken 13 years ago. All right, guys, this is the new one. Just bear with me. You could probably guess the blank when we get to it. So but I do have the jingle to jog your memory, because you may have seen the commercials growing up. So a long time ago, I found a Mandela effect with Barbie and the Rockers. The logo was not like this. Rockers was clearly legible and not merged like this. The E is part of the R and the K. The E is just gone. It's just Rockers. The E is just gone.
No, it wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah, it was not like that. But I covered that a long time ago. And the E is crooked in Barbie. I covered that too. The BA is merged. Then I covered a Mandela variation effect with Ken, Barbie's boyfriend/husband. He never ever had dark hair in my past. 90% of the time, he was blonde. The only color other than blonde in my past was very, very light brown. In this reality, all brown shades to black can be found on Ken. Again, this is an old Mandela effect. And Brian, can you zoom in the top right?
Sure.
Image? So on the box for this doll, they show him with blonde hair, but then the doll is dark haired.
What?
Yeah, he never had dark hair like that in my past. Even the old Ken dolls from the 60s and 70s had dark hair. All right, but this is the issue when it gets on my screen. But now I found a Mandela effect in the iconic jingle from my childhood, a jingle that they have reused through the decades, that is even preserved in the Smithsonian. I know many of you will not know this, but for those that do, this is a major Mandela effect.
We girls can do anything. We girls can do anything. We girls can do anything.
So, please fill in the blanks, including the blank for the punctuation. We girls can do anything, blank Barbie. Who knows this jingle? And if you don't know the jingle, what do you think would go there? We girls can do anything.
It seems like the word like would go there. Or with.
Well,
could be with. Like or with. I'm not sure.
Michael Russum says like. Helen's guessing can. Hubert's is with. Helen is with now.
Seems like or with.
You didn't wait for them to answer.
We girls can do anything.
Sorry.
It's all right. You already went back. It's all right.
I mean, we had a few answers going. What do you guys think it is?
Good. It's all right.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it to go on my screen again. Barbie was a teacher, mom, bride, astronaut, pilot, flight attendant, clerk, rock star, you name it. Barbie has been it. That slogan was to the point in my past. We girls can do anything like Barbie. That was the slogan. That was how it was written with an exclamation point. Okay?
We girls can do anything, right, Barbie? Peaches and
Right,
cream. We
Barbie.
girls can do anything, right, Barbie? Peaches and
What?
Yeah. So, not in this reality, though. In this timeline, we girls need to ask Barbie's permission to be like her. The jingle is a question now. But they forgot to
Yeah, it's
add
a
the question
question.
mark. Yeah, but they forgot to add the question mark at the end, which supports that it's a Mandela. We girls can do anything, right, Barbie? No way. It was never right. It was like Barbie. I can go with, okay, but it was like for me and not right. No way was it right. I can't. This is so wrong.
I can't either, Sandy.
Oh my,
It seemed like it had to be
oh
like
my gosh. I had peaches and cream Barbie and crystal Barbie, and I think those are the two I used. Anyway, go ahead.
next one.
So now this is the current reality. Guys, for those of you who don't know this at all, it was everywhere. There was even a game, We Girls Can Do Anything. Like this promotion, this jingle, this campaign was around for years and it was everywhere. Anything Barbie had it written on it. So like this pamphlet came in any of the World of Fashion dolls, including Peaches and Cream, the crystal dress one. And it says right on there, we girls can do anything, right, Barbie exclamation point. Wrong.
Sandy, I forget who was that lady that had her arm sleeve rolled up and she had like a kerchief on her head. She's like, "We can do it,"
Rosie the
or
Riveter?
whatever.
Rosie the
Yes,
Riveter. Mhm.
yeah, that's what it was.
So if you go on, there's more red. I have the red, then the green. And there's videos coming up. So, like here you can see we have a big coloring book. It says Barbie. We girls can do anything, right, Barbie. And if you zoom in, actually, you don't have to zoom in. I'll show it later. At the top, it's We Girls Can Do Anything campaign, right, Barbie. They put a question mark there. But
Mm-hmm.
you see how it's like an exclamation point that's a little bent? That's the only thing I found. It's on the bottom of the case at the bottom. Oh, you already went off of it.
Let me go back.
Yeah, the bottom left. Like that's the toy, and it's literally on the case. Like it was everywhere. It was like Barbie. So messed up. I can't with this. Look at the T and the E in Trace on the Trace and Color book. There's another Barbie thing with right Barbie written big on the packaging. I mean, it's just messed up. This is wrong. Wow,
And
as usual, someone thinks that their comment bothers me.
and now here comes the residue.
Yep. Tons of it. I never understood people who go to someone's chat and then, say something like that.
Like what?
Like that. Read the. I'm not going to put their comment on the screen.
Wait, whose comment?
Brian, you're going to have to look at it for yourself. I'm not saying it. I'm not putting them on the screen. I'm
Oh,
not putting them in
okay,
the
never mind.
show. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
It's
Lord
residue for
Frybread.
life. Plenty of residue for life.
It's everywhere. Because that's what everyone remembers. Hey, Mustard Seed of Faith.
Do you remember when we used to check Twitter?
I still
Um,
check Twitter, Brian.
yeah, is that what this is right here? Is that Twitter? I can't tell what that is
No,
there.
that's Instagram. Okay, so the top and the bottom, the top one's Reddit, the bottom one's Twitter, the middle one is LinkedIn.
I still remember the ditty used in one commercial. We girls can do anything, like Barbie. And she came with spectacular friends. I still remember the ditty used in one commercial. We girls can do anything, like Barbie. And she came with spectacular friends.
Okay, Brian.
Yeah, what was Midge? Was that which one was Midge?
Midge is one of her
Brother.
friends. It was one of her friends back in the 70s and 60s, I believe. Okay, so you can pause it. I'm just pointing out that the video says write Barbie, but she wrote like Barbie.
Wow. That's like the nail in the coffin right there, man.
No, the next one is.
Okay.
Pause it a second.
Can do anything like Barbie, astronaut Barbie.
Pause it.
Girls can do anything like Barbie, astronaut Barbie.
Okay, so the above is an airspace transcript, season 7, episode 12. It's a Barbie world, which is also residue of the song, which says, I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. It should be a Barbie world. So
Yeah. In
that's residue of
Barbie
that too. And we're all living in it. And they say in 1985, when Mattel came out with this Barbie, their commercial that was sort of promoting this doll said, we girls can be anything like Barbie. Commercial audio singing to Spangly Pop. We girls can do anything like Barbie. Chorus, astronaut Barbie. So they're literally saying that this commercial said that. Now you can play it, Brian.
Okay.
Girls can do anything like Barbie, astronaut Barbie. Girls can do anything like Barbie, astronaut Barbie.
Man, it's almost like you can hear it both ways. Like I hear right, but I also hear like, you know?
I can't hear like, I hear right. It is right. That's the official slogan.
It is probably right, but I guess I kind of hear like.
I can't hear like, I hear right. I hear that T at the end. So that's where I circled the exclamation point that looks like they made it a question mark as an afterthought. And there's also in a Barbie world and we can do anything like Barbie again at the top. This is the Smithsonian. It was like Barbie, not right Barbie. And it should be right Barbie question mark, but I only found one quote with a question mark, which you're seeing above. With a question mark that looks like a slightly bent exclamation point. Do you remember like I do, or do you remember the current reality right? I do not remember right. Hey, hard to believe. Thank you, hard to believe. I wanted to say thank you when you were here. Brian, you there?
I'm here.
Okay,
So
please
the
step away a
next
second.
one.
That's the last one.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
That's the last one.
Yeah, if you want to do another, just pick one random one that you want to see. Like that's further down, because you still have a lot you missed back down there too.
Okay.
See, you just pick a random one.
You guys having a fun night or what?
I'm trying to figure out what Mandela Affected's talking about with the white Barbie. Thank you, Shelby. I just ignore those people. It's okay. It's fine. But thank you. It's so nice to hear, Shelby. I appreciate it.
I'm trying to remember which ones. I feel like we left off with March 10th,
Yeah, so pick anything in between.
but
It's fine.
I think that was. You used to abbreviate them. You used to put a B for Brian if it was my show.
I do. It's SB for us. I still do. If there's nothing there, you didn't cover it. Yes, Parody Bear. Brian Stavely covered that. You are correct. It is a Mandela. But I thought we dropped 3 now. I thought it was 2 in one location.
What are these? Time lost and pyramid discovery. Is that worthy?
Oh, I wanted you to show the UFO thing too. They're video. They're just video clips. They're quick, so you can do them both if you want. They're super quick. They're from Jeff's
Okay.
segment, the UFO one, and if you want to do the time lost one, that's fine. They're really quick.
All right.
Yeah, Freebird was only one word. I agree with Hazel Fiver and you.
Which
It's just
Freebird?
one
You mean the
word.
song?
Yeah, Shelby saying Fiver said that it's 2 words now.
I thought it was one word.
Yeah, me too. I
Oh my
actually
goodness.
covered Freebird for some. I don't remember what I covered it. I think I was covering something else though. I don't think I was covering Freebird exactly, but Freebird was in the presentation. Like the bird on top of. Oh, it was the legs of the bird. I believe that's what it was. The feet or the legs
Okay.
of the bird on the
What
guitar.
about this? What about this one?
All right, so just listen to what the woman has to say.
Okay.
What were you doing today, January 25th, 2024, at 7:11 a.m. Central Standard Time? I asked because I think time jumped. I looked at the clock on my microwave in my kitchen. It said 7:10. I walked out to the car, looked at my phone. It said 7:11 a.m. And then, in a split second, I watched it change to 7:17 a.m. I froze, and I looked over at my daughter, who was sitting right next to me. And she said, "Mom, did you see that?" And I said, "Yeah, what did you see?" She said, "Mom, we lost 6 minutes. We're going to be late." And I was like, "Well, that's okay. That doesn't matter. I'm more worried about the fact that, hey, what were you doing today, January 25th, 2020?
Can you read the name of the person? Can you go back? Because I can't see it.
Hey, what were you doing today, January 25th, 2024,
Oh,
at
that's better.
7:11 a.m. Central
You should be able to
Standard
pause
Time?
it like any other video.
I asked because I think time jumped.
There you go. So it's Luna the mom on TikTok. And
Luna the mom on TikTok.
yeah, and she claims that both her and her daughter saw time jump. Like she lost 6 minutes. And I'm wondering if that could be contributing to
Wow.
time speeding up for us. If we're losing minutes and not realizing it, because we're not looking at the clock. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It could be something, hey Splatter, it could be something like another aspect of it. Just wanted to share that. The next one is the pyramids. Go ahead. So this comes from Natural Pathways on TikTok. Pyramids before and after. The video first showed up on the R Egypt Reddit 2 years ago. Yes or no in the chat. Do you remember it being discovered that hieroglyphs were inscribed on top of the pyramids?
No, they were always inside the pyramids.
And then I asked, how would they have survived all this time? So pushing button says no. Noise Guru said she just figured out she's an android from Westworld. Michael Russell says no. Kubert says yes. So there's a close up. I took screenshots for you, but they put the circle in the video.
How in the world did they survive?
I don't know. With wind.
We never knew that. They never told us anything that there were hieroglyphs on top of the pyramids. Never learned about that in school.
Go-Kart Bob says my clock has been 5 minutes off since the time change. Jim from Florida, welcome, says no. All right, so go to the UFO folder, please, because that's pretty awesome. And then make it big so you can see it. All right, so these are 2 new types for me, UFOs I've never seen. 2 new types I've never seen before. This one, they will zoom in, Brian. Just leave it alone. It looks like a blue slinky. That's the best way I can describe it. This comes from Ovnis TV on TikTok, and it literally looks like a blue slinky. I don't know what this is.
That's crazy.
Now, I do have a theory that this could be an LED drone show, because I've seen drone fireworks shows that can do stuff like this. So it's possible this could be drones, but I don't know.
What's going on here with this plane?
Okay, pause. So there's going to be a cubed UFO that this is the pilots actually filming from the cockpit. You're going to see a UFO that they filmed that looks like a cube. And you might have to use your mouse to point it out because it is small. Like when it plays again. So they're flying at 30,000 feet. And like a dark cube just flies across the sky.
What? There it is right there.
Yeah.
Not the one.
So I muted it because it's a History Channel and they will strike you. So that's why there's no sound.
Yeah, well, I got to fix that one video from a couple weeks ago, Sandy. It's blocked in some countries.
Yep. So, but this isn't the new type. The new type is coming up.
Break, and we were on a live picture from one of our Dallas tower cams when I saw something shooting across the sky, but it happened so quickly I couldn't identify what it was.
Yeah.
You sure?
Pause. Okay, so this I believe is gaslighting from the news. I want everyone in the chat to tell me if you think this is an airplane. Okay, and if streaming cameras are really this bad in 2024. All right, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you think that it could have been? Now, you were honestly, you weren't the only person. There were many people that made this comment. I had some tweets about it. I had some emails about it. What did you think it was?
At first, I'm like, shooting star, but then it was too big to be a shooting star. So I said, it was a comet. Then I went home, talked about it with my husband. He's like, it was a meteor. And I'm like, what was it?
But I mean, it's interesting, though, how you went from 0 to 100, where it was, a comet or whatever it was.
Pete.
Okay.
That's me.
Pause.
Honestly, Cynthia wasn't the only person. But
how is it going from 0 to 100 to see something flying brightly in the sky and assuming it's a meteor or comet. How is that going 0 to 100? I would think that would be a normal thing to think, right?
Right.
That is gaslighting to me right there. But he's really about to gaslight everybody. So here we go.
So, but I want you to take a look at this. So what we did last night, we went back and looked at the video, and many people had some questions about it. And so,
Yeah,
Cynthia, I
right.
want you to know you weren't, and you can see, I know you're embarrassed to say you thought it was a UFO, but you know, I mean, there's Cynthia, there's people like you as well that thought the same thing last night. So here, Marty Morrison said this. Pete, what did I see in the sky over downtown from the WFA cameras on the newscast tonight? So Marty, Cynthia, and for everyone else, here's the answer. But first of all, let me take you back to last night. So last night here's the camera. This was at 10:13 last night. Bank of America building. You see that right there?
That looks like a meteor to me.
That was live on our air. This is the tape from our newscast last night at 10:13. That's exactly what you saw. And yes, the question for many of you, including Cynthia, was it a UFO or a meteor? But what we did in the Channel 8 Weather Center throughout the day, this is how I spent my day once the rain ended. We did an in-depth investigation, okay? And the in-depth investigation, here's what it uncovered. We have multiple cameras here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I think we have like 5 cameras in downtown Dallas. We looked at the other cameras. And we wanted to see, you see that little dot right there? Watch this. We'll loop it through again. See it how it's? So we knew it wasn't a meteor because they don't originate down on the ground and then take off. Then we looked at one of our other cameras. Here's our Fair Park camera looking at the city of Dallas. You see that right there? You see what this is? Cynthia, is this becoming a little more clear as to what this is?
Is that a plane?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
We went on FlightAware. And we looked it up, and
How
it was
can you tell that's
Yes.
a plane?
Southwest Airlines Flight 63. It
That's
was
what
going
I
from
said.
Love Field down to Hobby. That's what you saw last night. So we were trying to figure this out as well. But here's what
everybody,
this
that is
camera
what
looked
you
like.
saw.
So we tried to figure out exactly what it was. So we went straight to the smartest guy we know. That's our chief engineer here at Channel 8. His name is Jeff Stevens. And I asked Jeff, I said, what was this? This is what Jeff did, is blah, 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 blah. And about 15 minutes later, my head was ready to explode. But really, what Jeff explained was, in simple layman's terms, which is what I understand best, is because this camera that you look at every night, it's a streaming camera. So it just can't keep up with the motion. So it just causes the light on the plane to just smear. That's all that it was.
Okay.
It just can't keep up with the motion.
Okay.
Mystery
Hey,
solved,
Raju.
Cynthia.
That is gaslighting.
And we were on a live picture from.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable gaslighting. It never looked like an airplane to me. Even when he was pointing it out and saying, pause it, Brian. Brian, pause.
Okay.
Okay. That never looked like an airplane to me. Even when he was like, see, it's an airplane. You can tell it's an airplane now. No, I just see a light in the sky. He's telling you that's what it is. So you better believe it. That just made me angry. That was all.
I think they're gaslighting masters.
Yep. Noise Guru says, "Good pause, Brian. Good pause." So this is the UFO I've never seen before, and I'm calling it a UFO because that's what it is. It's an unidentified flying object in the sky, and I've never seen anything like this before. And there's more than one of them. I have multiple videos of the same thing from different people, different states. Here we go. It looks like a meteor exploded. And the guy's saying it's a meteor. Except they stop. And they start going in opposite directions. And then they disappear and reappear, go sideways, zigzag. And see that thing dancing on the right-hand side? You're going to see that in the other videos from other people. That dancing light, I don't know what that is.
With the dancing light, it's a laser.
Yeah, but it's in other videos too of this from different people.
Oh.
I mean, look at this. Look how many there are. And I'm sorry, the thing that was in that Dallas, Texas news report looks like this. So go to the next
Kinda
video,
does.
Brian. So here's what it looked like from a different angle. This one's in Florida. So it looks like a meteor coming down. And you see that dancing light on the right? You guys see the dancing light? And now it's
Yeah.
separating. And they fall in stages. So they stop, more continue to fall. They stop again, more continue to fall, and then they stop. And there's that dancing light on the right again. They're flying in a formation. That is not a meteorite. They don't act like this.
But no, I've never seen UFOs do that.
I've never seen anything like this. It could be a drone show, but it looked like a meteorite, and I've never seen a drone look like a meteorite. Oh, and they're also saying that these are fireworks, that people jumped out of an airplane, skydivers jumped out of an airplane with fireworks in their hands. That's the main excuse for this.
You really think that's the case?
No, because one, fireworks would explode in their hands. Two, the fire could burn their parachutes. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. That's the New York Post said it was. Skydivers carrying fireworks. Like, are you serious? Does anyone buy that?
No, but Sandy, I wouldn't mind buying this.
Yeah, this is a good one, guys. Okay, so
Good.
If
Good, you can read
again, if you saw this, guys, just answer what you originally answered. Credit Christopher McGarvey. Sometimes we see something so much that we become blind to a Mandela effect. We just accept the current reality as that is how it's always been. I believe this is one of those cases, a logo that we have covered before due to merging, that has been Mandela. Hey, angels don't fall. Like I said, we have covered the AAA logo in the past. Every one of their logos are merged and or overlapping in some way. But Christopher noticed something that I couldn't even imagine until I recreated the logo for him. And now I can't believe how wrong it was. Like, I really could not see it until I made it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this logo's been Mandela. Like, immediately, once I saw it, I could not believe it. There are 4 options to choose from. 2 with the swoop open and 2 with the swoop closed. Which AAA logo best matches your memory? 1, 2, 3, or 4? So in the chat, which one looks right to you? 1, 2, 3,
Sandy,
or 4? Yes, Brian.
I think it might be 3.
Okay, Brian. Let's see what the chat says. Can you read the chat, Brian? Because you can see both chats.
Sure, I'm about to pass out, though. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hey, Robert Humphrey, good to see you.
Robert Humphrey says 3. Hey, Robert. Michael Russum says 4. Come on, guys. We need your votes.
And if, like I said, if you saw this before, just answer what you originally answered.
Like I said, I think it's 3.
Go-Kart Bob thinks they're all backwards.
Pushing Button says 3. Noise Guru says 1. Michael says, I remember without the blue ring.
It is without the blue ring as well. That is
Adam for Christ says 3. Hubert says 3 or 4. Angels Don't Fall says 3. I don't know. I'm going to go with 3, Sandy.
Okay. I will go with 3 as well, Brian. Noise Guru said 1. Did you get Noise Guru?
Yeah. So Christopher and I both remember 3. He remembered the swoop being open but not below the logo. Once I saw what he was saying, once I created the logo for him, I instantly knew he was correct.
So that is number 3.
No.
Big on the screen. Yes, it's number 1.
After seeing number 3, the current reality logo looks so wrong. Christopher described it as looking like ant pincers. Yeah,
Like
I didn't think
mandibles.
about that. Ant pincers.
Like
And
mandibles, yeah.
And I agree, it does. The swoop looks completely out of place sitting away from the main logo. Does this look right to you? No, it does not, Sandy.
It does not look right, no.
There are other completely unrelated AAA logos that use the same design element in their own way. I find it interesting that they are similar to our memory of the AAA logo instead of the current reality version. So while not direct residue, it does show design principle consistency. The logo also follows a pattern we see in the Mandela Effect community. Saturn, we have seen many logos and Mandela effects that have been Saturn imagery, like Superman's job at the Daily Planet, or Mandelas that involve the Saturn name. For instance, the Saturn peach.
And now Saturn itself, because it's got the storm on it that it never had. The Saturn peach, I covered that a long time ago.
Yep. So side note, 1997 to now. Since we previously had covered a AAA logo, a few more logos in the company history have been added, whether they are new to this timeline or were just logos lost to time and recently found. They have some Mandela features that should be noted. You want to read, Sandy?
Sure. Hold on for a second. Super Mario says, wasn't it the Daily Planet? Yes, I already covered it. That's what I was talking about. It's now Daily Planet, but it was the Daily Planet. That's why I had it in there, because I previously covered that back in 2019. But first, for those of you first seeing this, I will recap what we have already covered. The 1922 to 1983 or 1997, because there are conflicting reports, logos are at least legible A's, but the logo is still merged at the points marked, which seems unlikely for 1992. I forgot to mark it up, but you can see that the corners of all the A's are touching each other or the ring at some point at each point. The logo most of us recall is this one. The A's were so merged that they look like 4s, sharing the feet of the A's with each other.
I think it's to make it look like the pyramids, you know.
Could be, but there aren't 3 pyramids anymore. Now for the past logos, the new ones that weren't available when we looked before. The first known logo is 3 A's in between 2 wheels. The A's on the sides mirror one another and have a normal crossbar, but the middle A has the V crossbar. It looks a little Masonic, and the left A is merged with the border. Look at the center one, Brian. It's not the same as the ones on the sides. The middle bar, do you see it?
Yeah, it's bent down.
It's bent down. And 1 foot of that A is behind the wheel and 1 is in front. And like I said, the one on the left, it's merged with the border of the wheel. The other logo that is new is almost the same, but this time the mirrored A's are more of a script font. We also see the crossbar breaking through the A's on opposite sides, and all of the A's overlap or merge with part of the design. So weird. Again, we can't say these logos are Mandela for sure, but they seem to follow the same pattern we see over and over again with confirmed Mandela logos. Is the AAA logo design a Mandela effect for you? Do you remember the A's merging like they are now? Let us know what you remember in the comments below, and a very special thank you to Christopher for sharing his find.
Thank you, Christopher. And
Yeah.
thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. And Sandy, you have any words to say at all?
Thoughts?
Closing thoughts?
Well,
Any
should
prayers?
we do a quick shout out before we go?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, I will do a quick shout out. And if you're in Brian's chat, I'm sorry I can't see you. This is just my chat right now.
Don't forget Dean Johnson. Dean Johnson's here. He's been in the chat. Hey,
Hi,
Dean.
Dean. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you. I couldn't see you. First tonight was Super Mario Brothers 3. We have Mandela Affected, Noise Guru, Huberts, Pushing Button 62, Helen, Skygazer, The Frosty. We also have Preliminal, Go-Kart Bob. Did I say Noise Guru? I did. Sophia Green is here. We also have Ed Hen, Red Storm. Let's see. Thank you to Ed Hen for taking care of that issue earlier tonight. Parody Bear is here. Let's see. Scrolling down, I see Michael Russum. Shelby Norwood is here. Still scrolling. I don't want to miss anyone. Give me a minute, Brian. Lord Frybread was here. Mustard Seed of Faith. Angels Don't Fall. I said Parody Bear, right? I did say Parody
Yes, Sandy.
Hard to Believe is here.
Hey, Josh Speed is here. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh. Good to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Splatter is here. I think it was Jim J from Florida. That's who I'm looking for. Let's see. Yeah, Jim from Florida. That's what it is. Jim from Florida is here. Still scrolling, guys. Sorry. I said Splatter. Adam for Christ was here. Ryugami Mikado is here. I think I said Go-Kart Bob, just in case I'm saying it again.
Yep. Sandy, I got to cut it. I'm sorry.
I'm almost done, Brian. I'm at the bottom. Give me 1 second. Alex Jones is shilling for vitamins. Welcome. All right. And Superman's Clark Kent is here. Welcome. Superman's Clark Kent is here.
Don't forget Alex. Don't forget AJ's here.
I just
Alex
said that.
Jones.
I just said it.
Okay. See how tired I am?
I know.
Have a good night, everyone. Have a great Mandela Effect night, everyone. God bless. We'll see
Good night,
you
everyone.
in 2 weeks.
Oh,
and
yeah,
also, don't forget to check out Sandy. You'll see Sandy on her channel probably when next week, Sandy?
Tomorrow. Well, technically
Tomorrow?
tomorrow night, yes.
Okay. All right.
And welcome, Slanders People Bear.
Yes, don't forget to hit the bell so you guys get the notifications of when we are broadcasting. Okay?
Who is Parody Bear? Good night,
Good night, everyone.